Hi, I'm Tom from Just One Pack, and I've got mail today. I know this setup is a bit different if you've seen any of the other videos, but I got mail. I got this one in the mail. This one. The next set, the Equilibrium set of Alpha Clash. Finally, we got in Europe as well. I've got a whole box. We're going to crack it open, see what we get. So, I brought my coffee because it's quite late and I'm a bit knackered. So, let's dig into it. Come on. So, here we have it. The first box for Equilibrium. So, just to start off, before we even do anything else, just look at that box. Not much. I'm going to take off the plastic, right? They're just there to show that it is real and original. So let's get that one off. There we go. Off. But just look at that box. That is it's a little bit tricky in this light. Maybe we can change the lighting. You can see that is a really white. That's an odd sound that makes. That's a really white box, right? This on the shelf in the store will look more like a poster. Just imagine having that as a poster. That would be brilliant, wouldn't it? Anywho, I am so excited about this set for a multitude of reasons. Some of them we'll probably get into. But the first of them is right here at the top. He's right here. That guy. This guy is Avarice, the Iridescent. Now, he is special in so many ways. Once he is the first other progenitor we get. And he's a dragon. There are dragons in this. That is just both art and really cool. Now I'm going to leave him over here because he's the promo card. Every box comes with that, and then I'm going to crack this open. I'm going to shuffle these up. It's not because I think it's not random. It's just because sometimes it's not. I want to have to chase a bit, right? So let's just mix them all a bit. Do a wash and a shuffle or whatever this. Alright. And this bit pile squaring up. So the other thing I really like about this game, I'm going to talk at length. So the way we're going to do this is that we're going to open this and I'm going to sort them by colour. If there's something rare, I do have heart colours, so we're definitely going to put them in that. The chase cards here are, of course, the most rare cards. So that would be the alpha rares and the legendaries. Secondly, the gold foils, of course, the gold and the X-ray is the real chase cards in this set. I checked the prices before I open it. I'm not that much of a collector, but I did check the prices. And the iconic rare Lord Kron card is the most expensive card. I think it's about $100. So if we crack that, the box of sort of pays for itself. Otherwise, I have more game pieces, which is what I really like about this. I'm going to go slow at first, and then we're going to start cracking. I'm probably going to rant a bit, so there's no script to this. I'm just going to crack, rip, toss, and see if we get something interesting in this, right? So, there are many cool things about this set. This is some of the first packs I'm opening, so maybe I'll just stop because I find a card that looks sort of interesting at some point, right? Baiting. That I like that they've took this picture is from the comic book. Do I have one around here? No, I do not. Not one I can easily get to, at least. That from the comic book. I like that they can use that. Okay, so there's a whole tangent here, right? On a Avenging guy. So this guy comes in here with the regular back, but the Clash kits, which I have bought as well, of course, they have a special art on the back, so you can tell them apart, right? Incendiary grenade, 3, and a gun down. That is a cool card, by the way. For a common, blue's really getting some cool cards. So I completely forgot to do the spy colour. Well, I better do that. I'll move everything a bit down here, right? So the thing is that, contenders go back here. So the thing is that with set 5, one of the things I really like about set 5 and why it was very appropriate that he showed up, I was trying to do a I was trying to do a deck upgrade sort of video for the older Clash kits, right? And there weren't really enough cards to do that. Oh, the Sun Reactor. Alphaclash just looks mean. So I was trying to do a deck upgrade for those, and there weren't really enough cards to do a deck upgrade because the variety and the support for the different strategies weren't really there. With set 5, there are now enough options to actually do small upgrades or really big upgrades. I'm trying to do it not without touching epics and legendary stuff like that. This is again a dual-sided contender. I like that. I haven't played with the dual-sided contenders because I think they're quite hard too. Moxie, Paul doing his best. All right, and Alphasta, Colossal Combatant, a common, and Deathblades. Look at that. Nice. So, but with Equilibrium, there is now enough different cards in the game, so we can actually do something with it, right? So, creation, nice card. We can actually do things differently. So there isn't just one card that does a thing. There's a card and there's a slightly better card, or at least another version that does sort of the same thing but with another cost. A Nova token. I like this Nova token. Right. Compromise, sure. So look at this. I always messed up, haven't I? Blue, blue, blue. And down there's red. So, okay. So that is nice from beginning to end. This one, by the way, looks like Force Javelin. Ooh, another Javelin. I completely missed that would be another Javelin. So this card in the gold foil. Remember, at least I wanted to say that the gold foil cards and the X-ray cards are the chase cards in this, right? This guy in gold foil, this is not it, but in the gold foil version, I think on TCG Player, I looked up this morning, as soon as I got the text saying that this package would arrive for me, I looked him up. I think they went for like $50, which is bonkers to me. So my opinion on trading card games is that they're fun to play, but they are a luxury sport, right? So we pay for stuff that regular people would think of as completely insane. So if I were to tell someone that I was blowing off a box of this, the money for this, right? Because I thought that would be fun and interesting to talk about, they would think I was mad, right? Sky Pierce. I like the image of this. Patty Grimm's does some really cool stuff from time to time, by the way. It's not my favourite, but it is close. And the Kagan foil. We have Avenging Guy. He is behind on support. Anyway, well, not much longer. if someone told you that they would go spend whatever you pay for a box, I'm not paying in US dollars or euros, so I can't remember. Whenever you do that, right, that cost for what we actually get is cardboard, for crying out loud, right? So that is really, really expensive, right? And it is really bonkers for for ordinary people, quote unquote, right? Paul pursuing his dream. And Warsash, come on, there we are. There's an epic. From death to life, and another vintage game. Okay. So it's really, the proposition is really bonkers, right? Because this is an expensive game to play. No, well, no, actually, this is not an expensive game to play in comparison with what TCGs play, what these TCGs costs. This is a very affordable game. That was sort of the point I wanted to get to. This, for a TCG outsider, this is a lot of money for not much product, right? But for us who actually enjoy this game and know what stuff costs in this game and other games, this Alpha Clash is really cheap to get into and to... Oh, I nicked it. Damn it. Is really cheap for card games, as far as card game goes. But then again, just every now and then you have these special art things that is just that just drives up the price. So a single card will pay $4, right? And that is I like the zero cost of it. Sorry. That just drives sort of why there's a financial idea into this. I was talking to someone today at my game cafe. Ooh, grappling room. I'll get back to this. What is this? Grappling arrow. I haven't seen this. Take between entire class ground. Okay. Okay. Sure. Look at this. It is quite late, so if I'm rambling on, or I'm a bit knackered, to be honest. Long day. It's about midnight here, so but I want to get this done. Anywho, I was talking to one at my local game store today. Oh, sorry, at my game cafe today. Oh, Rislack. I like that the discard is now coming in blue, because that really opens up my Lord Krung deck, which I definitely need to upgrade when I'm done with this box. Well, tomorrow. Anyway, I was talking about these games with one at the game store, the game cafe. Sure. About the prices of this. Where was I going with that? Anyway, let's see. Is it good for? No, having a sense of danger. I was going somewhere with that, and then I've got lost in the cards, in a grappling hook that sort of pulled me out of that. Anyway, let's just continue opening these guys. What I haven't said about, well, now I said this about the this set being sort of a tipping point in terms of support for other strategies, or for having cards to choose from, right? Because I'm not saying that there weren't different ways to build before, but for a casual builder, if you're coming from Magic, let's put it like this: if you're coming from Magic and you want to do another game, one of the ways you or at least I built commander decks in Magic was that I would start by getting an idea of what I wanted, usually for my commander, and here it would be a contender, and then try to find ways to support that. Okay, let's see. Oh, okay. Faster. again. So just look at this. He looks so mean and so. Let me see if I can. He looks so mean and so cool all at the same time. You sort of want to be like him, and you sort of really, really do not want to be like him. This is some of my favourite items. Look at this foiling. I'm going to part the chit chat about this being a breaking point for the game. Just have a look at that foiling. I have never. Ooh, that's nice. I have never been a big fan of foil cards ever. I think I mentioned this before on a podcast or something, but if I for some reason have not, let me reiterate this, right? I have never been a big fan of foils on cards. They usually fell into two categories. Either they were boring or made the card unreadable. I remember seeing the first time that I saw one of these Pokemon cards with the stars in them or something like that, right? And I was thinking, well, that's cool, but I can't read the card. Alpha Clash has taken that and made a fool of it. There is probably some good foiling in modern Magic cards that cost like an arm and a leg, but the amount of details put into having just, it is almost like it's a part of the print that's so intentional. And it's so intentional to do it that way, not leaving it to chance how the final product would get to look, but really putting in the effort to make the foiling match the card and the art, and that level of foiling just makes, that has turned me on foil cards. Also, this is not unreadable, right? I mean, if I can get it to focus here, right? The foiling is there all the way, but this is what I need. You whatever you do up here, don't spoil this. This, I have an issue with the gold foiling because in the name, because it's a bit hard to read. But that's not the point. This is what I need to do, right? All the important information is down here, right? And a lot of games doesn't do that very well. Magic sure didn't. Some of the Magic cards were unreadable, right? This, they're doing such a wonderful job. And it sort of makes even the big ones look like amateurs, right? That's so cool. Also, okay, this, in terms of making other games look like amateurs, this is a professional product. If you ever opened Alpha Clash, you know already, right? This is a professional product. It is good quality. It has a good look. But the look of this keeps getting better, more and more precise. We have him again. Thowley. Not there, Thomas. There. But they are doing their own thing. This is dark, and it has a sort of theme like that, but it is not the high fantasy copy and paste that Magic did, and Flesh and Blood did, and God knows how many. It's like the card game goes one of two directions. They either go dark fantasy or high fantasy, right? Or they go. Anime, right? This is different. This is a style that is, well, comic book style, obviously. This is a style that is so different. It looks so much different that it sort of catches the eye. Now, this I have not seen, so this is why I paused that. I know the next one is the foil, I know. Trick Enter, you may reveal the top card of your deck. If you do, you may put a weapon without unrivaled with initial resource cost of 2 or less from among them. Into accessory turn, then put the remaining cards into oblivion. Okay. Okay. That's kind of nice, isn't it? Evelyn. Sure. Warcry. Why did I do that? And a war. So this just to me looks like no other game out there. There is a trend, or at least I think I see a trend, in having sci-fi themes now on card games. But no one else I've seen is doing the classic, quote unquote, I like this card, is doing the superhero cartoon, sorry, no, comic book style like this. So this is, for just the look of it, differentiates itself. Look at that. Zero cost class buffs, yes please. Well, not playing against them, that is horrible, but yeah, there we go. Major Dean. I haven't really looked into him as a contender, but I think he's quite good. Sorry. This one is a beautiful segue into talking about how this, for me at least, is a set that is sort of a tipping point. Outside Dr. Realm's Office is one of the cards I've been looking at that sort of does what other does, just slightly different. And the idea that I can get 2 or 3 cards that does something similar but slightly different, that I can choose what to put in my decks, what I want in it. Field of Battle, nice look. That is so important to me, right? Now, okay, I just have to pull. Sure. So having these options, the fact that discarded, hopefully we'll get to them here, is now represented in both black and blue, also means that we open up a court of opportunities. Faster. That's an interesting character. Opens up the possibility to take that a little bit further and mix a bit of strategies, opening up some different avenues, right? Alphaster, at the time of recording, he's just been nerfed a little bit. There was a lot of talk about him being a little bit too much. Sorry, he's looking quite white, doesn't he? He's still Alphaster, Supreme Overlord. Is that a setting from somewhere else? Sorry about that. Okay, so whenever I see this, so this game, more than any game I can think of, maybe Flesh and Blood, really conveys the story of the game in the pictures, right? So there's this idea that they are fighting. I can't remember if they fought in the book, but sure. So when Alphaster and Renee here knows how to draw Alphaster, because he's drawing this one, right? That's the same artist. So him being white is not by chance. He knows what color it is. So that is part of the prompt. And that sort of tells me there's something about Alphaster we don't know yet, isn't there? So I'm curious. See, I was talking about this card being blue, right? Oh, she looks so good. I want to know what those knives are. Anywho, so when the art shows something different, I mean, we can sort of handle that. Avenging Guy looks like that and not like that, but some of the other things, like Alphaster showing up in white, why is he doing that, right? That's a story that we need told somehow, right? That's a batch, for Aegis Conquest. All right. Oh, I just blew into the foil, but that's pretty cool foil. And Locron, Warmonger. I really have to start looking at upgrading my Lord Krung deck. The talk about Alphasta that was nerfed, by the way. The talk was that he was so far ahead that the bounty cards would not bear much weight. That might be true, but still, for someone like me, looks awesome. He looks so good. I want to build an Alphasta deck, but I want I can't remember every nook and cranny of it, so I'm sort of forgetting. Anyway, so for okay, that looks good. Look at that. That's nice. What we have here. See, usually I'll think this was cool, but I've just got this. That is just rubbish. Anyway, where was I going? Oh. It's sort of like this box wants to distract me, right? Because I was talking about something and then I opened Iconic Rare of Bow of 1,000 Truth, which I've opened before, so it's in there somewhere as well. If you didn't know, if you're wondering why I tossed a Iconic Rare in there, well, of course I did not. That's because of the nature of Iconic Rares. All that about how they are, well, I don't know how they're chosen, but Iconic Rares are common cards with a different art. Iconic Rares. That's the way they come about. I'm just chatting away here. So there we go. Where was I? Anyway, I am easily distracted, apparently. So this card reminds me that I want to talk about the story of this. So I've been talking about how the oh right, we had the white contender. This too, right? The bean. That's not the white contender. White Alphasta. The bean, was that in the book? I can't remember a bean in the book. Oh, I would think I would remember bean in the book. That tickles my mind. So what do we get in the next book and stuff like that? This is nice. Compounding interests. That's such a neat card. Sort of out of place. I need this. Oh man, I need to be more careful. It is, well, past midnight right now. So these cards makes me want to know more about the story, because there's a lot of story. There's not much story in, right? This is just a fighting scene, and they're fighting the alphas, I suppose. This is just a fighting scene. There's something about to happen. We know this because this is from the comic book, right? We've had far too little known about the Harbingers. Interdimensional doorway. I like that. And okay. Oh god, was that the one that got nicked? Nope, it was the other one. Good. That is nice. Amplifier goes down there. Lord Krong the Barbarous. Alright. So these tells the stories about the characters, and I really like that they do that, but I really need to learn more of the story. I need to learn why he is white, why there's a bean all of a sudden. I want to know these things. Whether that is through the comic books or the book or some other way. I should write down. So I should write it down, all my ideas on how that could be right? But I really like that they are doing it in so many different ways that allows us to consume it in different ways, right? And one of the ways is that we can look at the card and think, why are they fighting in this? That sort of tells us there's a story to be told there. Just tells. I like that Moxie isn't the only one getting into armor, because he can't fight them alone. Although it is, I would like to have a somewhere. It does say Weapon, but you know, some like distinct features saying that this is Weapon, but that is Moxie, right? Avenging guy hitting the mark. Well, you might be able to do that. No, Edwards and discarded. That's it. So, but there is a really cool part about this game being so lore driven, so lore based that we can sort of assume that when we see something, that is part of the story, right? If you see the change, that's part of the story. I just want the story told, please. Anyway, I was talking about this set being a tipping point. I want to elaborate a little on that. Besides there now being enough, I'm not home field advantage. That's sort of a everyone in one pack thing, isn't it? Sure. We're getting close now. Put them down there. We had quite a few good ones, so let's see if we can get a few more out of the last packs here, right? All right. So the set doesn't just it's not Equilibrium in and of itself, although it does quite a lot of heavy lifting, I think, in terms of closing the gaps. But that's sort of the point, wasn't it? Let's see. Nope. Slowly. This is not too bad, by the way. For a 1 cost. So it does close some of the gaps there was in the game as a whole, making it now a much more interesting ground for casual players to start brewing. I don't have to scrape by on the small stuff. I don't know how many games that dies or doesn't die on that, but it makes deck building much more interesting now. Iron Valkyrie, I like that. Lord Krong, Silent Berserker. Right. More right. Oh, yes, give me more support for my discarded. Okay, shield and ooh, he looks good. Right, he looks mean. That what he does. Reckless abandon. Sure. Down to the last 4 packs. So, speaking of which, let me just grab my coffee. Got to get dry throat too. But with Equilibrium, it's sort of funny because they say it would bring balance into the game, and I think that in some sense is right. So they do bring a lot of things together that now opens up as well for for them to continue like on a clear base. Reflect, Zone Reactor. I like this card. Okay, I like the art on this one. Genesis Diabolic Villain. He looks so mean. Maybe I'd like to have this one. So every month I do a Clash meetup, right? I want this art on the next poster. I have to write about that. Well, they're a bit busy now, so fair enough. But let's see. An accelerator of sorts. That is that is a good card. The thing here is that this one was nerfed along with Alphasta and a Sauli card, Slip Away, right? but it's still a good card. I was talking about this being a completed set, right? So, see, I remember for once. And then they tried to throw me off with a good card, didn't they? Anyway, so the thing is that there is now, it is more sort of a, we've reached a point where there's enough cards in the card pool to make it viable to go pursue things, especially when you're trying to build something for casual, right? Then there are now enough options for this, and I don't think you could do it any other way than just keep pumping things out. I haven't intentionally gone through this to see how many new keywords and stuff I should. Maybe that would be the podcast on Monday, but it doesn't seem to me like there's a whole lot new things going on in terms of mechanics. We have pool. I know that he does not have the alternate art pack there, but I have to say, I have to look. There's not a whole lot of new things going on. There is, the biggest news are, speaking of this guy and this guy, those are the ones that bear the big brunt of the new features, right? With the distract and the contender that can actually obstruct. Nice, Alpha Aster, maximum effort. And Cherry Bomb, that was her name. I've kept, she's on the berating card as well. I just could not for the life of me remember what she was called. She is in the comic book as well, right? So that's a character. Oh, that's an important point. I think I mentioned this in the last episode. So one of the really cool things about this game, that is not the art, and it really isn't about the gameplay either. So if you name your commander deck, if you name your commander deck, you name it by the commander and you sort of build around that. Sort of put that personality into your deck, right? At least for a casual builder. That's the bean again. Well, that's two sides of the same matter, isn't it? Nope, it's just a wrist lock. And that's Charlie. But in this game, because there's so much lore, we can sort of build characters that doesn't. There are no characters that we should not care about in some way. Even the discard, we haven't really met the discarded, but we know there's a Rislock, we know there's a Morak, we know there's a Grower, we know there's a Lord Krung, of course. So even that is characters we can build a relationship with, even if they're not contenders yet. Last pack. Do we believe in last pack magic? I think we've done pretty well so far. So I'm going to have a look in a bit. Let's see if we can get some last pack magic. Oh, we'll start off good with Metal Thunder. Don't mind that. Subway Car. That's a Carnage. Condation. Rebound. Orislac, speaking of him. Streaking. Forsaken Catacombs. Colin Edwards. Nope, it's just a Death Soul Gorger and a Jade Necklace. Alright. I could keep on talking for hours about this, and I probably have if you haven't seen or heard the podcast. Anyway, I'm so happy I got these because I really wanted to get a video out there for all of you who actually watches these videos. And it's been ages. I just been busy really. That's at last the harvest of the pack. An accelerator of sorts. Epic. Lord Krong. the Barbarous Legendary, a Bow of 1,000 Truths in Iconic Rare, an Alpha Aster, the what is that called? Prominent? I don't know. He's an epic. From Death to Life, also epic, and From Beginning to End, also an epic. So a legendary, an iconic rare, and no less than 4 epics. That's an okay pack, I think. Anyway, that was all I had. If you want to see more pack opening, follow all the shorts with pack openings. I'm going to do Equilibrium. There's also been a Pokemon set out, so there might be 1 or 2 of those. But this was my first pack of Equilibrium. So thank you for watching, and hope I'll see you again soon. Bye.